Welcome to Marshall News and Views here at Studio One TV. We've had some interesting shows lately, and we've had some very interesting guests. And one thing I have to mention before we get started this one, because you've heard me mention it on a lot of the other shows, that I really think it's neat that Marshall is a community where people grow up, graduate, they leave, but then they come back and they make Marshall their home. And we also have the students from SMSU that come here to go to school. They end up staying and becoming a vital part of the community. So Marshall has a lot of things going for it to keep and attract and maintain the quality of people that comes here. Our guest today, Marc Klaith, is kind of amongst all of those groups. Born and raised here in Marshall, Minnesota, and we're so happy he chose that Marshall is his home. Marc is the fire chief here in Marshall, been involved in the Sounds of Summer from basically day one, got a lot of things going for him that have certainly benefited us and the Marshall community. So Marc, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
But the one thing we do want to talk about today is the development of Memorial Park. You know, the ongoing process and the final phase that seems to be kind of creeping into everybody's conversation lately.
Yeah, it's the new final phase, I guess we'll call it. It's the last phase of Memorial Park. Just a little brief history on Memorial Park. That was started many years ago, and then we got the beam and got that recognition for 9/11, the event that happened on 9/11. Back in 2013, Bill Versavel passed away, and his family came to me and said they would like to do something with his memorials, and they wanted to put it towards a Veterans Memorial. So I thought, what a great idea. So we went to the city, and Harry at that time, and Ben, and they thought this was a perfect opportunity to put that final touch on Memorial Park and have it as our Veterans Memorial. Because in Marshall, we do have some statues and things that signify the history of our veterans and so on, but we really don't have a physical place where people could gather.
Yes.
And so we thought that that would be a perfect location. And if people know that 9/11 Memorial, there's a lot of people that go through that park. So, and the infrastructure was all there, so we thought, what a great place to put it.
Yeah, it worked out very well, and you're right. A lot of traffic going through town in all four directions, go right by it. And when you sit in some places and kind of watch the traffic, you see brake lights going on because people are slowing down, taking a look at that. You know, and then when you put the arch in there with the clock, everything just seems to add to it. So basically, the Versavels are the ones that brought the discussion to the forehead about the continuation or the original?
The continuation, the original concept was to have a farmer's market down there.
Oh.
But as we're well aware of, that farmer's market's kind of blossomed in that Schwann's parking lot, and the vendors, you know, I think appreciate that openness. And so we decided to, and since it was Memorial Park, is to put that Veterans Memorial there.
Yeah.
There was also other families that have had veterans that have passed away that have contributed to this fund to get this project going.
So you got to think with all of that, there's been a rise in the awareness of the project. People are starting to talk about it, and everybody certainly remembers the great program you put on in celebration of the 9/11 that day.
Yes, you know, and I think it goes back to what's happened in our history, you know, in the last 10 years, 11 years with our conflicts that we've been in. You know, we're a pretty safe country.
Yes, we are.
We're very fortunate. But I think the reason that we're safe is because of our veterans and the military that are still taking care of us. And I think as part of our duty as a community and as a citizen, we need to show that respect to those people. And I think that this memorial is going to do that.
Yep. Yeah, it's one thing I've kind of noticed that ever since, well, the original Desert Storm, our country seems to have taken a better look at our military life. You know, it used to be, well, the Vietnam soldier came home basically shunned. They were not welcome. They thought like the soldiers started the war and they were the problem. The Korean War, they always call that the forgotten war, you know. But it seems like when we got into the Desert Storm and from the battle since then, the resurgence of our trust in the military has come around big time, and you just see and hear all kinds of things being done in their honor. What do you see as far as local VFWs, Legion clubs, businesses? Are they pretty receptive of this project? Are they stepping up to the plate, so to speak?
They are. I mean, our local VFW has pledged $25,000 towards this memorial out of their own funds. The American Legion also is involved in it. And the Lyon County Veterans Coalition, that they actually met on this back last spring and talked about this and thought it was very important that this memorial be in Marshall. And there is other towns that have very nice veterans memorial that they're building. This memorial is more for southwestern Minnesota, for all of us, not just Lyon County, not just Marshall, but for the surrounding areas, to really appreciate our veterans. You know, and I think when you go through Memorial Park and the kids can go through there and actually see what's going on and touch those things, I think that's what entices our business people and our citizens to get involved in the project, because they want that education portion of it.
Yes.
I think they see a lot of kids on phones now, a lot of kids playing video games, but once they can physically, if we can get them out there and educate them, it really brings a new, true meaning to what veterans are, Memorial Day, Memorial Park, 9/11, that physical touch. And I think this community has been very supportive on all of those projects. The local businesses have stepped up. You know, the biggest thing is we've got to get those funds raised, and if that's, you know, we have to have the money to go forward.
Yeah.
And we're looking for that. So while we're on that, don't be afraid to get a hold of Community Services up at the Park and Recs Department. Mary Tate, that staff knows what's going on. If you want to give a donation, it is a 5-0, it is a tax deductible donation if they do. If they have other questions, if they need to would like me to come out and speak to them, groups, I know that there's some veterans that are involved in it, Kenny Versavo, Quentin Brunsvold. These people are involved. We can come out and talk and do a presentation if need be to explain the project. So the solar farm, those people contributed a substantial amount of money to the project already. We've had private donors. We've had other, again, people that have passed away that left their memorials to the Veterans Memorial.
Okay. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but are you getting pretty close to where you want to be?
You know, I think we're at about $75,000. We need to get to that $125,000 mark. You know, the total cost of the project's about $400,000, but we have a contribution from the city that we'll be working on with them, and then also with the county, seeing where they can come in at it. You know, the fortunate thing when we built Memorial Park, the business community, and I'm going to use Bladholm for instance, they were the general contractor. They did a lot of things in kind. Buffalo Ridge Concrete donated all the concrete for that project. So when you say that $400,000 mark, that dollar amount, it's probably going to be, that's the total, but that's probably,
it includes in kind.
In kind in those things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you're really moving along very, very well.
Very well. You know, we'd like to get construction started in 2018. Just to get this thing going. I did have a call today, and they said, well, once we start seeing progress on it, we're going to contribute to that. That's great. That's great, but we still have to have that original startup money to get the project working. I will tell you that this will all be done locally by our local contractors, just like Memorial Park was.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, that's, I don't want to say backwards thinking, but, you know, it's not like, if somebody gives a chunk of money and then the project for some reason or other doesn't happen, you're not going to take the money and run.
No.
You just give the money back to them.
No.
Or they can put it in an escrow.
Yep.
But the money is always there. But you need to know how many dollars you have to work with.
That's exactly right. And you know, and I made a commitment that this would be, I want this project done for the veterans in the final phase. of Memorial Park. And Harry Wylog is still on board with this project, and Scott Vandemellen up at the Community Services. Everybody's engaged on the city side,
Sure.
from the mayor to the administrator to all of our staff. So, yeah, I have a positive feeling, and it's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. So let's keep those cards and letters coming in, especially the letters with the checks in them. Or if you see Mark on the street, give him some money right there, or contact Mary Tate up at Community Services Office. She can help you out. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so you got a tax deduction also. So there's no reason for you not to contribute to this fine project. So would I be correct in assuming that the next step is just getting enough money together to get started?
We want to get that money. We're going to start on the design phase. We had Gene Ernst, who originally designed Memorial Park. We're going to start on the design phase and start that process so we can start getting some numbers ready for our budget process within the city and also with the county, so we can tighten up our numbers so we know exactly where we're at. But again, the bottom line is we need that money.
Need the bucks.
We
you
need the
bet.
bucks.
You know, that's kind of a good idea if you can come up with a design, a concept, so that you can have a big placard or something that you can, when you go out to speak to groups, because I got to think you'll start getting more and more requests for that. If you can show people what their dollars are going for.
And we do actually have the conceptual drawing, but we're going to tighten that up so we can get our basic figures on our numbers, so with the project costs.
Yeah, well, that's good. You're ready to talk to groups. You're ready to show them what you think the project is going to look like conceptually wise, and you're ready to take the check. So let's get going with that. Let's see, we already talked about who to contact to give the money to, so that's not a problem. What else can we talk about on that? You know, and you've pretty well touched on why this project is so important. And I think the one big thing you've got going for you on this project is how well you put together the 9/11 celebration down at the park.
Yes, you know, the city staff, I can't thank them enough. And again, I think it just shows you how this community is. You said it before, we have a great community here.
Yes.
We have a clean community. We have a very supportive community. We've got great schooling. We've got all those things. And it's fun to watch in the Independent when people are actually coming back to Marshall to raise their children. And I think with our parks and our memorials and all those things, it's a great place to raise a family, but it's an educational place too.
Yes. And like you said, there's a reason Marshall continues to grow, and it's the growth of Marshall that has kept Lyon County's population at right around 25,000 people for 40 years, you know. So the more that we can do to help Marshall, the more everybody benefits.
Exactly, and again, this is for the region. I can't stress that enough. It's for the region. It's just, that's my biggest thing. It's not about Marshall, because a lot of people think that everything that we do in Marshall is about Marshall. Well, it's not. The 9/11 event was about the region. It was about the state of Minnesota, and this is the same thing. I think it's just we're fortunate to have the resources and the businesses and the community to support this project, and I think it's great for the surrounding area to get them involved in as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say that a memorial park for veterans is a local thing, because it's not. It's the entire United States.
And I'm sure as you travel through the state and other states, you drive by the
Sure.
Veterans Memorial and the Memorial, and I do too, and I stop. I think we have that responsibility to show that respect to the vets.
Yeah, yeah. We got another thing coming to town. I think it's going to be at the Lyon County Fair,
It is.
and that's the Veterans Memorial. That's going to be there. What can you tell us about that?
It's actually the 9/11 Rolling Memorial. It's coming from New York. They actually have the artifacts from the World Trade Center, the fire station, the fire trucks. There's going to be, this trailer opens up. The exciting thing that we're just really excited about is the New York firefighters are actually coming with this exhibit.
Oh.
They'll be on hand out there to answer questions, to walk you through the exhibit. You know, we look back at 9/11, a pretty significant day in our history.
Yes, it is.
And this is a great opportunity for people that weren't able to get to New York to actually see some of these artifacts come and see what happened in that day in New York.
Yeah. So August 10th to the 13th is the date of the fair, or the dates, I should say, of the fair. Will the exhibit be there that whole time?
The exhibit will be there on Friday from 9 until 7, Saturday from 9 until 7, and then Sunday from 12 until 3.
Okay.
And then we'll also have firefighters from our local Lyon County involved. They'll have trucks out there. We'll have our own local Lyon County firefighters on the scene to help them go through that exhibit too.
Okay. Giving rides in the aerial basket truck?
Well, there's probably not enough room out at the fairgrounds to do that, but.
I've always wanted a ride in one of those.
Well, Bill,
things.
you come on down. I'll give you a ride, and it will take you up 100 feet in the air.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you think we should know about the memorial?
You know, I just want to say thank you to the community and thank you to the business people. I think this is a great opportunity to show, again, our thanks to our vets and to be proud of our military and our past military.
Yeah.
It's not about it's about all of our military, because God bless them, because we're here today talking like this,
Yes.
because they take care of us.
Yeah.
And we don't need to worry about things.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up everything today. Marc Klaith, a lifetime resident of Marshall, very active in the community, especially in the fire department. How many years you been chief?
I've been chief 16 and a half years.
16 and a half years. Yeah, that's dedication, that's good service, and we're fortunate to have you dedicate that much time for the job, even though oftentimes it's taken away time from your family. So thank you on behalf of the community for that. Anybody that watching this program, you think you'd like to have somebody else know about this project, you can do a couple of things. Number one, you can contact Mark. He's in the phone book. You'll be able to track him down and line him up to come speak to your group, or just visit with him over the phone a little bit about it. Or another thing that you can do is Marshall Studio One TV. You can catch this actual program. You can find it on our website, Marshall's Studio One TV. You can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Facebook. Any number of places that you can watch it. You can let your friends know, your relatives know in other communities. Because of the internet, they can get on and they can see this program and they can find out what it's all about. You don't have to worry about telling them what it's all about. You just say, hey, go to this site and you'll find it. And you'll understand just what a great thing this is. And oh, by the way, they'll also tell you where you can send your money.
Exactly, Bill.
Because that's the big step here that we've got to get over. We've got to get over that hump. It's, well, like the famed columnist for the Star and Tribune, Sid Hartman, always says, the name of the game is M-O-N-E-Y.
That's exactly right.
And that's what we got to get down to. So that does conclude today's program. Again, like I just said, you can catch us on YouTube, you can catch us on Facebook, you can catch us on the Community Services webpage, you can contact us on our own website. So no reason not to be seeing this program. This program will run twice a day for the next, probably a week to 10 days. So the word should get out. The viewership is getting better and better all the time, so we're reaching out to an awful lot of people. So Mark, good luck to you and your crew in getting this done.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks for being with us.